Okay students, so welcome to the third lecture of this series, this masterclass. This is the third lecture, and in this lecture we will deal with basically the binomial nomenclature. I told you in the last lecture that I will go through what is binomial nomenclature and what is the advantage of binomial nomenclature and everything related to that. So I did not club that with the previous lecture because then you would have been finding and searching for what is binomial nomenclature and which lecture did ma'am go through where is binomial nomenclature is basically. So think of binomial nomenclature, think of your own self, think of my name. My name is Priyanka and Shaha. So this is the genus. Think of this is the genus and think of this is the species. So obviously this is not the binomial nomenclature. This is the common name which has been given to me. So this is not the binomial nomenclature. Never ever think this is your binomial nomenclature system. Priyanka Shaha is not the binomial nomenclature. What is binomial nomenclature? Binomial. This is a common name given to me. Okay, whatever your name is, Ayush Gupta, whatever, XYZ, Raj Arora, whatever. I'm just Shilpi Maiti, whatever. I'm just randomly taking some names whichever is coming to my mind. So these are not binomial nomenclature. So what is binomial nomenclature actually? Binomial nomenclature is basically Homo and sapiens. So here this Homo is the genus and sapiens is the species. So this is actually binomial nomenclature, okay, which is accepted worldwide. My name Priyanka Shaha, this is not accepted worldwide. People will not know this name, or this is not the actual classification, or this is not the actual naming system which has been classified. Who classified the naming system? Who discovered this binomial nomenclature? I discussed with you in the previous lecture. His name was Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, so he was Carolus Linnaeus who discovered this binomial nomenclature system. And so this, every time remember, your own name is just a common name given by your parents. This is not the binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature is the naming system that is actually adapted in the whole world. It is adapted in the whole world. So that is basically Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens is the system which is actually the binomial nomenclature. Homo is the genus and sapiens is the species. Okay. So binomial nomenclature is a formal system of naming the species. So whatever species we have, we basically name it in this binomial nomenclature. Each species, each and every species is given a two-part scientific name. This one. Don't have the misconception this is also a two-part naming system. No students, this is not a two-part naming system. This is just a common name given to you. Basically, many people, they have a middle name also. So that won't be a two-part naming system. They have a middle name also. So there will be three names. So is that the concept? No, it's not the concept. Don't get confused into your common name and the naming system or the binomial nomenclature which I am talking about. It is a scientific naming system which consists of genus and specific epithet or species name. Okay. For example, the scientific name for humans, that is Homo sapiens. For mango, it is what is the name? What is the famous fruit? Mangifera indica. I love this fruit very much. Okay, mango. I love mango. So Mangifera indica is the scientific name for mango. Okay. So this system was popularized by the Swedish botanist Carolus Linnaeus in the 18th century, and it is now the fundamental part of taxonomy. It is a fundamental part of taxonomy. Why? Because I also told you about the taxonomy. What is taxonomy? I told you in the last lecture that taxonomy is basically the naming of what I told you in the last lecture, right? What is taxonomy? Taxonomy was the branch of biology that dealt with identifying, naming and classifying organisms. I told you. So Basically, this is taxonomy. So this was the fundamental part of taxonomy, that binomial nomenclature formed the fundamental part of taxonomy. Okay. Now, what are the key features and rules? It is a two-part naming system. Okay. It is a two-part naming system. The name will always comprise of two parts, the genus and specific epithet or the species name. Okay. Keep this in mind. This will be in origin. Originally, this will be in Latin. Latin in origin. Scientific names are typically in Latin or Latinized words from other languages. Okay. Italicized is the font. It is not the language. The language is basically Latin. Okay. This ensures the names are universal and not subject to the grammatical rules of different languages. So different languages will have different grammatical rules, but basically this Latin languages which is followed by the binomial nomenclature system, because this is a dead language basically, which will not change now. Now, if we talk about capitalization, the genus name is always capitalized. Okay. Example, Canis. In Canis, this C letter is always capitalized. The first letter is always capitalized. Always when you write the genus name, the first letter will be capitalized, while the specific epithet is never capitalized. Example, Lupus. Okay. In that also you have to keep in mind only the first letter is capitalized. Not all the letters are capitalized. Only the first letter is capitalized. Okay. Now there are other key features and rules as well, like for example, italics and underlining when typed. When we type the names or when we write the names, the entire scientific name must be written in italics. In italics font. Okay. In italics. It is a style. Okay. Basically. Homo sapiens. When handwritten, both parts of the name should be underlined separately. Here I have made a very big mistake. I'm really sorry about that, because this should be capitalized again. This should have been capitalized. This should have been in italics, but I have forgot to change the style actually. But please forgive me for that. So this is Homo sapiens. So this should be underlined separately, and the first letter will be what? Capital. Uniqueness. What is uniqueness? Each species has a unique binomial name. Each and every species has a binomial name, unique binomial name. What does this help in? This basically prevents the same name from being used for two different species. Now, so for example, think of, because this is a uniqueness, so each species has a unique binomial name. So think that there will be a confusion if both the names are same. So for removing that confusion, scientists came up with an idea where there will be different names given to each different species. The genus will be same. For example, Lactobacillus. Lactobacillus has the same genus, but the species differs. Why? For one case, it can be Lactobacillus acidophilus. For another case, it can be Lactobacillus vulgaricus. Okay. So the species differs. For example, in case of E. coli also, we have Escherichia coli. Then we have Escherichia, I think so, it is Escherichia alberti, I think so. So they are different. There are tons and tons of bacteria which differs in their species name. So this is what the species name basically differs. So now if we come to abbreviation, basically, so in abbreviation, once a scientific name has been mentioned in full, the genus name can be abbreviated to its first letter in subsequent mentions. For example, C. lupus or Canis lupus. Okay. If one time you have mentioned already Canis lupus, so in the next time you don't have to repeat Canis again. You can just write C. The first letter in capital, you can just write that. So this is also a particular system. Okay. Now, there are international codes for this nomenclature system. What are these international codes? They are International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, for example, ICZN, and the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, for example, ICBN. So, ICBN is basically for the plants and ICZN is basically for the animals. Governs the rules for naming animals and plants respectively, ensuring consistency and stability across the globe. Okay. Now the key features and rules. What are the key features and rules? ICBN, remember this, it can come as an MCQ. International Code of Nomenclature of Prokaryotes. This is another one. This is basically earlier called as the Bacteriological Code for Bacteria. For naming of bacteria, ICNP was used, and ICTV for what? For viruses. Okay, this was the International Committee on the Taxonomy of Viruses. Okay. Now come to what are the advantages of binomial nomenclature. What are the advantages? Firstly, universality. The same scientific name is used all over the world. Wherever you will go, Homo sapiens will be Homo sapiens. Wherever, in each corner of your whole world, Homo sapiens will be same. It will avoid confusion caused by local or common names given. Example, just now I told you, Mangifera indica, that is mango. It is recognized globally. Okay. Precision. Each species has one unique name. Each and every species has a unique name. It helps avoid mistakes in identifying organisms. Okay, it helps to avoid mistakes to identify organisms. Simplicity and standardization always uses two words, that is genus and species, and it is easy to remember. That is, this follows compared to long descriptive names. Instead of using long descriptive names, a genus and a species is very easy and a unique way to remember everything. Okay. Then it shows relationship. How? The genus names shows close relationship between species. Between the species, if the genus is same, we can understand that, okay, this follows a common lineage. Okay. For example, Homo sapiens and Homo erecticus, they are coming from the same species. Although Homo erecticus is the extinct species of early human, but then also, for example, think of just now I told you Lactobacillus vulgaricus and Lactobacillus acidophilus. The species differs, but the genus is Lactobacillus. So we can understand that, okay, this will contain the features of the Lactobacillus bacteria. Okay. So because of the species name differs, the name is different, but the genus is same. The genus is same. Belongs to the same genus Homo. Here for Homo, then there is a stability basically. Names are given by rules of international codes. I just now told you ICBN, ICZN. Okay. And if once these are accepted, names are stable and these are not changed. In exceptional cases, it will not be changed. In some exceptional cases, if something else has been identified and it is very much identical to the pre-existing one, then it may be changed, but it will not change. It is the fixed name given. Facilitates what? Research and communication. Helps scientists, students, researchers communicate clearly. Okay. Avoids mix-up. Example, panther. Panther can mean leopard also, cougar also, jaguar also. So panther can mean anything. But if we talk about Panthera pardus, it is only leopard. It will not be cougar, it will not be jaguar. It will only be leopard. If we talk about Panthera pardus, okay, it will only be leopard. So this was all about the binomial nomenclature. This is a very short lecture. This video will be very much short and crisp because this video will be dedicatedly only on the binomial nomenclature, and in the next lecture we will dive into Whittaker's 5-kingdom classification system. So till then, have a good day and do follow the channel for more updates and follow this masterclass. Okay, bye.